Commander Zextil of the Arxian Empire slammed his chitinous fist against the battlecruiser's control panel. The holographic display showed yet another failed assault on the human defensive position. It shouldn't have been possible. By all accounts, these primitives should have fallen within hours of the invasion's start. Status report. He barked at his intelligence officer. Officer Vixna's antennae twitched nervously as she pulled up the combat footage. Sir, it defies explanation. Watch this. The screen showed a human soldier taking a plasma bolt directly to the chest. Instead of vaporizing, as any sensible species would, the human just got back up. Their blood had already begun clotting, their tissue already starting to repair itself. That's not even the worst part, Vixna continued. Remember the nerve toxin we deployed last week? They got angry. They didn't die. They just got angry and fought harder. Zextil's compound eyes flickered in disbelief. The Arxian nerve toxin was legendary, capable of shutting down any known nervous system in the galaxy. But humans, as they were learning, weren't like anything in their database. Sir, another officer interrupted, you need to see this footage from the ground forces. The screen switched to a battlefield view. A human, badly wounded, was carrying two of their injured companions across the battlefield, under heavy fire. While returning fire, the soldier's vital signs showed multiple injuries that should have been fatal, yet they kept moving. How? Zextil whispered. Their endoskeleton should have shattered under that stress. That's just it, sir, Vixna explained. Their bones don't shatter, they repair themselves. They call it knitting. And their muscle fibers. They don't weaken with use. They get stronger. The more we fight them, the stronger they become. The commander watched in horror as the footage continued. A human medic was performing something called emergency field surgery, essentially repairing major damage to another human's internal organs while under fire. Without proper sterilization, without neural dampeners, without anything that made sense. Sir, there's more, Vixna said, her voice trembling. We've discovered why our psychological warfare tactics failed. Humans don't have a fear response that leads to submission. When threatened, they become more aggressive. They call it fight or flight, but from our observations, they mostly choose fight. The tactical display updated with new information from the front lines. The humans had not only held their position, but had begun a counteroffensive. In the middle of the night, in a snowstorm, while singing something they called war songs. The worst part, Vixna continued, is their ability to function without rest. Our troops need recovery cycles every 6 hours. These humans? They can go days without sleep. And when they do sleep, they do it in shifts, standing up in their armor, with one eye open. They call it combat napping. Zextil watched as a human soldier took a direct hit from a plasma cannon. Instead of dying, they pulled out something called a field dressing, slapped it on their wound, injected themselves with something they called morphine, and rejoined the fight. Their medical technology must be incredibly advanced, he mused. No, sir, Vixna corrected. That's just how they are. Their bodies automatically repair damage. They call it their immune system. And if something kills some of them, the survivors become immune to it. They adapt. Almost immediately, the commander's antennae drooped as he processed this information. Are you telling me these creatures evolved on their death world, survived multiple extinction events, developed spaceflight, while fighting among themselves, and now they just refuse to die when we shoot them? Yes, sir. And there's one more thing. Vixna pulled up another video. This is what they do for entertainment. The screen showed humans willingly jumping out of perfectly functional aircraft. For fun. Running marathon distances. For fun. Fighting each other in rings. For fun. Climbing frozen waterfalls. For fun. By the first queen, Zextiel muttered. They're insane. All of them. A new alert flashed on the screen. The humans had begun broadcasting on all frequencies. Their message was simple. We haven't even started fighting back yet. Last chance to surrender. Commander Zextiel looked at his battle-weary troops, then at the footage of humans treating plasma burns like minor inconveniences. He thought about the reports of human children being stronger than his adult warriors, of human elderly being more resilient than his prime fighters. Officer Vixner, he said quietly, prepare the surrender broadcast. As the command was relayed, he watched one final piece of footage. A human soldier, completely surrounded, out of ammunition, laughing as they pulled out something called a combat knife. Note for the archive, he dictated. Never invade Earth. These humans aren't just soldiers. There's something else entirely. They're fucking unkillable. The human on the screen winked at the camera before it went dark. Somewhere in the background, more humans could be heard singing their war songs, getting closer.